gotta show me you can handle me. I'll take you where you wanna go, but first you gotta show me, baby. You can treat my body right, how I like. Do me right, can you treat my body right, how I like. Do me right, if you wanna be the one, show me what you're made of. No holding back, give me everything I want, and baby I may take you home. I don't want just a one night, I need more than a good life. If you want my love, if you want my love, I don't want just a one night, I need more than a good life. If you want my love, if you want my love, ooh, give me all that, don't be holding back on me. Ooh, give me all that, don't be holding back on me. Boy, you found a real one. Promise I won't play no games with ya. Never find another one best you ever had, boy, I'm the truth. Show me that I'm special. Treat me like a queen on a pedestal. Yeah, I'ma need all of that, but first you gotta tell me, baby. You can treat my body right, how I like. Do me right, can you treat my body right, how I like. I don't want just a one night, I need more than a good life. If you want my love, if you want my love, I don't want just a one night, I need more than a good life. If you want my love, if you want my love, ooh, give me all that, don't be holding back on me. Ooh, give me all that, don't be holding back on me. Boy, you found a real one. Promise I won't play no games with ya. Never find another one that you ever had, boy, I'm the truth. Show me that I'm special. Treat me like a queen on a pedestal. Yeah, I'ma need all of that. First you gotta tell me. I don't want just a one night, I need more than a good life. If you want my love, if you want my love.
By the end of the 1990 season, the Bulls had reached the conference finals for 2 straight years, only to be eliminated each time by the eventual champion Detroit Pistons. As they looked ahead to the franchise's 25th season, the Bulls knew that they had reached a crossroads. They could no longer cling to the identity of a team on the rise. If their championship dreams were ever to become a reality, they knew that the 1991 season would have to be the time.
I mean, it was something that we said, you know, wait till next year, we're gonna get back, and you know, we're gonna overcome this hill that we keep getting up to and can't get over.
The 1991 season began with a familiar pattern.
Wide left, Pippen, 3 seconds. Jordan's force-up shot to left. Oh, yes! Win. Michael Jordan saves the day.
There were spectacular victories, and there were painful losses.
Airball, Brian Shaw lays it in. Boston wins over the Boston Celtics. Come from behind and knock off the Bulls.
While the Bulls had grown together as a cohesive team, their success still seemed ultimately to rest in the hands of Michael Jordan.
Jordan, and he goes to work. And it's blocked. Here come the Bulls for the lead. Larry Robinson takes it to the hook. And that's the ball game as the Bulls hold on to win it.
If the Bulls were to take the final step in their maturation, they would have to learn to share more equally in that burden.
You can't have a guy that averages 35 or 38 a game and win championships. Other guys have to be involved.
23 seconds ahead of Paxson. Yes! John Paxson, one-foot shooting.
The adjustments that the Bulls would make were subtle ones, but they would prove to be all important. For Michael Jordan's teammates, the challenge was no longer physical. It was psychological.
How many coaches would have the courage to sit Michael Jordan down in a 2-point game or a tie ball game with 4 minutes to go and then have the team respond and go up 4?
Felt the team, needed to be able to exist on their own a little bit on the court. They needed to have some internal direction, the ability to have poise and confidence on the floor.
Yes, the way it's to be done.
As his teammates began to assert themselves, Michael didn't give up his role as leader. Instead, he redefined it.
My role on this team as a leader is a utility man. You know, step in and plug in the holes wherever we're lacking something.
As the season progressed, the Bulls seemed to find new heroes every night and a different way to win.
Career falls down, and Cartwright steals the ball. Jordan, Michael blowing in, beats Pippen for the jam. Powerhouse!
As the Bulls headed to the All-Star break, their new philosophy of shared responsibility had everyone contributing. Even during the All-Star weekend itself, they would receive an important contribution.
How about the rotation? There's 8. Fuller run. There's 9. Trickles to down. Now, put on the show, Craig.
Fans have been waiting for this.
12 in a row. Unbelievable. He hasn't missed yet. Unbelievable.
And Greg Hodges is going to defend his championship.
Craig's got this great attitude. He comes out, he's got himself up, he wins a three-point shooting contest. It's just a big lift.
Going into the second half of the season, the Bulls were ready to take their play to the next level, and their home court would help them do it.
When you go in the stadium, you hear those 18,000 plus screaming and hollering. You feel it through your bones.
The stadium roars to life. Listen to the crowd in the stadium.
You're never tired at the stadium. You know, on the road, you can get winded and you need a timeout, but at the stadium, you never get tired there.
They're getting a standing ovation here in Chicago Stadium for a great come from behind.
Well, the stadium means a lot to me and to my team. The noise, the intimidation factor, all these things are in our favor when we play at the stadium.
The Bulls would put their home court advantage to good use. With 2 long homestands ahead of them, it was time to make their move.
Coast to coast for the jam. Showtime! Poster time. Hands to Pippen on the drive for the... Strong pushing around Stockton all the way to the rack. Yeah! Wow!
When, Detroit was hurting, and I think it was a couple games up on Boston. We smelled the blood.
Armstrong, DJ works in front court, a long bounce and a yeah for the dunk. The Bulls have got it in overdrive now. Oh my, yes, sir.
Just in a zone where we felt like we weren't going to lose.
23 seconds ahead to Paxson. Another 3 by Pax. Yes! Yes!
It's unbelievable. It's something that no one can stop. You know you're going to have that groove, and it's just going to continue.
Down before Jordan, wham with the right hand. 3 seconds. Livingston from about 60 feet nails it at the buzzer. Oakley tries to save. It's up for grabs. Pippen with a 30-footer on the way. Yeah! Jordan in deep on Elo. Oh! And as they have done so often, they win going away.
We've had so many games this past season in which we've been able to sit our starters in the fourth quarter. We've just been able to overrun teams.
Hodges around it for Deuce. Screen back to Will. In for the it's a 21-point lead. Strips it from him. Pippen on a 2-on-1 behind it back. Wilkins rejected. Wilkins rejected. Consecutive blocks by Jordan. And it's a 2-on-1. Look out. Jordan. Showtime continues for the Chicago Bulls. Jordan past Petrovic.
Oftentimes, the game is won before you get started because teams see what you've been doing and say, well, let's just go into the stadium and get our lumps and go home.
Extended the 5-point lead. Ahead to Pippen off to Cartwright. He lays it in. Let's see if the Bulls can make it a 40-point lead by halftime. And there's a new top dog in the NBA East. It's Michael Jordan and the Bulls as they move ahead of Boston. Yeah! Yes!
As the season drew to a close, the Bulls had left the Pistons and the Celtics trampled in their wake. Collecting a franchise record 61 victories, they had stormed to the best record in the East, assuring themselves of the home court advantage through the conference finals. Going into the playoffs, they were riding a tidal wave of momentum. But their attitude reflected the lessons of playoffs past.
By and large, everybody became very dedicated to the fact that we had to prove on the court what we had the year before, that we could play under pressure.
The first opponent, unlucky enough to find themselves in Chicago's path, were the New York Knicks. And the Bulls simply stampeded over them.
Shoots from there, rimming, no, Pippen the rebound. Here come the Bulls storming into the front court. Here's Armstrong, into left, back to Pippen, a goal in his face!
You make one mistake and boom, we're off. We're up the floor dunking the basketball.
The Bulls would never let the flustered Knicks into the series as they overwhelmed them in 3 games.
Pippen, a facial. Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan! Oh, please, let's see that again. 100 times.
In sweeping past the Knicks, the Bulls had put on a classic Chicago jam session. But against their next opponent, the Philadelphia 76ers, they would unveil a lesser-known part of their arsenal, their defense.
That's going to be the difference in the ball. You're going to need to squeeze that ball out of their hands a little bit.
And from the outset, the Bulls suffocated the Sixers with a swarm of defensive pressure.
Phil's idea was to take advantage of Michael and Pippen, who just fly around like sleek Dobermans.
Michael Jordan was oh my. Here's Anderson, couldn't find the shot. 2 on the 24, and Pippen stole it from Anderson. Scottie Pippen all the way. What a move.
We rely on our defense to create offense for us, get steals, get easy run-outs, dunks.
Left side, Hodges, a steal, tipped it loose to Pippen. Scottie ahead to Armstrong, back to Pippen for the jam.
As the series wore on, Philadelphia began to crumble beneath the Bulls' relentless onslaught.
We felt that in the process of putting that kind of pressure on the team that we physically felt them weaken.
Dispatching the Sixers in 5 games, the Bulls had methodically marched through the playoffs' first 2 rounds. And now, the challenge they had awaited all season long was finally at hand.
The Bulls go back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the 3rd year in a row, hoping that the 3rd time will definitely be a charm.
18,000 have turned out at Chicago Stadium for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final.
As they looked across at the Pistons, the Bulls knew that their moment of truth was at hand. They were about to confront not only Detroit, but also the ghosts of Pistons past.
Here come the Pistons.
Look at the block by Rodman.
The Bulls throw it away.
The Pistons have now a return trip ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals.
This is a team that we didn't like, and they were at a point where we were trying to get. So it was tough to swallow.
Again, it's the dirty work. Detroit wants it more at this point.
They feel like they could beat us at will.
And time is beginning to run out for the Chicago Bulls.
We were tired of this feeling. You know, I still remember the pain.
And the Pistons are under a minute from getting to the NBA Finals for the 2nd straight year.
We were in total despair. They had done it to us again. They had beaten us.
The winner of this game plays Portland for the NBA title.
Michael's not doing it today. You ain't gonna do it today. Do it today. Do it today.
Robert, and the Pistons want to make Jordan pay.
They do the little things that frustrate us.
And the Bulls overreact, and Pippen lost his cool for a moment.
We fell apart, and the pressure that we had on us came to play.
Chicago Bulls continue to frustrate themselves and their fans.
3, 2, 1, it's over. The Pistons return to the NBA Finals for the third straight time.
For the Bulls, the playoffs have yet to begin. They do start today.
As a unit, we knew that this year we were going to have to get by Detroit. I mean, we could make no more excuses.
And this year's annual confrontation would finally be played under Chicago's terms.
We had any confidence at all. It was the fact to know that we were going to play with the home court advantage. That was crucial because we knew we could beat these guys at home.
The Bulls had worked all season long to change the series setting. Now, they were determined to change its plot.
It's not going to be the same story.
Boldly in the script, Chicago fearlessly took aim at the heart of the Pistons' defense.
Jordan with Dumars, takes him into the lane, hands it off to Horace Grant inside, he lays it in.
Jordan putting the move on Dumars. The Bulls on fire.
Detroit sounded the alarm and called upon their bench to match fire with fire.
Shoots under pressure, good.
And everybody's saying their bench is better than ours. They're rougher than you guys, they're more aggressive. You guys don't want to tangle with these guys. These guys are going to lose just like you did before. When it came down to play them, the bench, we took it all upon ourselves. We said, look here, we have to go out there and show it to them.
Rising to the occasion, the Bulls' bench would make their message clear.
Oh, what a pass. Livingston from Armstrong. Making a major contribution here. Aguirre working off a double team stop by Purdue. Armstrong for Hodges.
Leading the Bulls past the Pistons, Chicago's inspired reserves would make a statement not only to Detroit, but also to their teammates.
I think after that first game, I think guys were looking at each other like, hey, we can beat these guys.
Through the years, defense had been the trademark of Piston playoff supremacy. Now, a confident Bull team sought to beat Detroit at their own game.
Gets underneath, has a shot blocked by Pippen. Super defensive play by Scottie. Pippen on the drive, left corner Paxson. He comes up shooting, good. Yes, sir! Grant, Aguirre baseline right, doubled up, had it chopped away. Current right ahead to Jordan. Michael on the drive, in on Vinnie Johnson, all the way to the hoop and lays it in. Oh, there's panic all over the Pistons' faces.
And as Detroit had once done to Chicago, the Bulls would now smother the hapless Pistons.
And was able to steal, leading to the...
Practically reduced to the role of spectators by the Bulls' relentless defense, the Pistons were left with only one option.
They would have to accept the beating that we was given.
An exasperated Detroit team had taken their lumps at the hands of Chicago. But the ever-defiant Pistons retained their swagger.
Usually we're capitalizing that situation, but, you know, we're a great team, back-to-back world champions. We'll be back.
We're not just going to go down without a fight. I mean, a serious fight. The next game they win, if they win, it's going to be the hardest game that they've ever had to play in their lives.
True to their words, the Pistons employed their personal brand of survival tactics.
We had to take the physical aspect of their game, and we talked about playing through that kind of thing, and the guys were ready to do that. They were mentally very tough.
Refusing to be intimidated, the Bulls calmly executed to perfection.
A battle between Jordan and Dumars, and then Jordan collided with Aguirre. Shot clock is at 2. Pippen, yes.
I got hit with the elbow, and I went down a little bit, and I got up and I was angry. And Michael came over and he said to me, relax, just, don't worry about it. And don't let them see you hurt. If they see you hurt, they're going to come after you more and more. So just smile and walk away, because it was all out of frustration.
Dwyer switching off on Pippen. Look out, Pippen sent flying. He knew he was going to get hit.
In the past, we would break down mentally and become individuals, which is the way they want you to be. But as a unit, when everybody's contributing, we were very strong, and we were able to overpower them.
Michael dribbles out to Pippen. Left side, Paxson. He comes up shooting. It's in. Oh, Johnny Paxson. Yes. Stuck on automatic.
Unable to slow Chicago's attack, the Pistons would cling to their game plan, waiting for their pressure to rattle the Bulls.
Yo, listen. They don't execute great in this situation. They'll throw up a wild shot if you play good defense.
But the Pistons would wait in vain.
Sequence by Detroit. Shot clock and 2. Yes, and it counts.
In beating Detroit, the Bulls had dispelled any remaining notions that they were just the Michael Jordan show, as they even accepted the MVP trophy as a team.
Award to Michael Jordan.
But that was not the story that the media chose to focus on, as the Bulls prepared to meet the Lakers in the finals.
This series tends to be, at least in the public mind, Air Jordan against the Magic Man.
There's no question, you're not going to avoid the Magic Michael thing.
Well, they're calling it the Dream Series, Magic versus Michael. I know that the whole team's involved, but it's just, that's the way it's going to be played. You can blame LA for this, right?
Well, it's a big media hype. We know that, and it's very important for me as a player, and one of the main focal points is to not take away from the team.
If the Bulls were to retain their focus as a team, they would have to weather an unprecedented media barrage.
No, I don't see myself getting into butterflies.
Oh, I have butterflies now.
It won't bother me. I mean, this is the chance of a lifetime.
Page 2 is first, Andy.
Get ready to pin in 7. South to 5. Beat LA! Bulls T-shirt!
Yeah, who's next here?
All the way. Get the wrong graphics up there to recycle. No silver.
You are looking at Chicago Stadium, and they are basketball crazy here in Chicago as we approach the start of the NBA Championship Series. What time is it?
The keyed-up Bulls charged into their first final with raw emotion and raw nerves.
Michael lost the handle on the dribble to Devon.
Cartwright backs in, left baseline turnaround jumper, air ball.
But while Chicago struggled to shake their opening jitters, the more experienced Lakers looked to take quick advantage as Magic Johnson calmly directed their methodical attack.
6:50 to go in the first period. Great inside pass entry from Magic to Worthy, who lays it in off the window.
Dictating the tempo, the Lakers seized control early and had the normally high-octane Bulls stuck in neutral.
Now we got to go out first stop this time and start playing basketball. Now get your confidence back. Be aggressive.
Get up! Get up! Scottie on the move, now to Jordan, in for the right, for the whoa!
Taking their cue from Jordan, the Bulls were finally off and running, forcing the Lakers into transition and storming back into the game.
3-on-2. Pippen